Today we're going to be adding and subtracting mixed numbers. All right, I'm going to talk about how we add and subtract mixed numbers. There's multiple methods that you can do, but if you are adding or subtracting the mixed numbers, first add and subtract the fractions first. If necessary, you need to change the denominators if they're not the same, and then add and subtract the whole numbers to simplify it if necessary. So first you just do the fraction part, and then you can do the whole numbers. However, if you are subtracting and if the first fraction is less than the second, we have to rename the fraction. Or another way is just to make everything in proper fractions, and then you can add and subtract that way. Okay, let's look at this first example. So since we're adding and everything's positive, it makes it pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it so that it's vertical. So I have 7 and 4/9, and I have 10 and 2/9. So I'm going to add it vertically. So I'm going to just look at my fractions first. So we know how to add 4/9 and 2/9. So 4/9 plus 2/9, I just add the numerators together, which is 6/9. And then I just add my my whole numbers. So I'm going to add the 7 and the 10. And when I add 7 and 10, I get 17. Oops. Okay. So now I'm going to simplify because I know that I can divide the top and the bottom by 3. So then I get 2/3 as my simplified version, and I still have that 17. So my final answer is 17 and 2/3. Let's go on to the next problem. Okay, for this problem, it's a little bit different. I have different denominators, but I'm still adding, so it's still okay. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it as 5 and 1/5 plus 2 and 3/10. So is my denominator the same? My denominator the same? No, they're not. I have a 5 and I have a 10. So I need to change my denominators. I can multiply this one by 2/2. So then I get 5 and 2/10 plus 2 and 3/10. Now I can go ahead and add my fraction. So I have 2/10 plus 3/10 is 5/10. And then I have 5 plus 2, which is 7. And that's my final answer. However, I can simplify. So I can simplify by dividing by 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom. So my final answer would be 7, and then 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I have 1/2. Or you can say that 5 is half of 10, so you get 7 and 1/2. Let's go on to the next problem. Okay, with this example, I see that my fraction here is 1/3, and then I have 2/3, and I have to take away 1/3 from 2/3, and I can't do that. So let me show you a model. So I have, in this case, I have 2 wholes, and then 1/3. So I'm going to color this in. I'm going to make this into thirds, and I have 1/3. Here, I have to take away 1 whole and 2/3, but I don't have enough. If I look here, I don't have 2/3 to take away. So I'm going to rename my fraction. So to rename it, this first whole, I'm just going to keep the same. And then this fraction here, I'm going to rename it by changing it to thirds, okay? And then this one would be the same too, okay? So now I have, instead of 2, this is 2 and 1/3. Now I have 1 whole and then 4/3, okay? So I have 1 and 4/3. I'm going to show you how to do that mathematically in just a minute. Okay, so I have 2 and 1/3. So what I did was I took this 2 and I made it a 1, right? But then I had this plus 3/3 here, right? Plus 1/3. So I had this right here became 3/3 plus 1/3, and I got 1 4/3. Now I can rewrite it and say that I have 1 4/3 minus 1 2/3. So 4/3 minus 2/3 is 2/3, and that is my final answer. There is a second method, which is actually just getting everything into improper fractions, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, here's our second method. We're going to change each mixed number into an improper fraction. So remember, you can do this shortcut. I'm going to show you that 2 is 6 divided by 3, right? So it's 6/3 plus 1/3, which is 7/3. Or you can do the shortcut where you multiply the denominator and the whole number, which is 6, and then you add the 1, okay? So then you get 7/3 there, and then you keep your denominator same. And then you're going to subtract the 1 2/3. Well, the 1 would be 3/3 plus 2/3, and that would be 5/3. So we're going to subtract 5/3. Or you can do the shortcut method, right? And you multiply the 1 times the 3, which is 3, plus 2 more is 5. The denominator stays the same, okay? So you get 5/3. Then you just have 7/3 minus 5/3. So 7 minus 5 is 2, and you get 2/3. And that's the end of adding and subtracting mixed numbers.